Hello everyone, Gigs here once again on 9B9T for another Anarchy Adventure episode. Now, you may have noticed I'm in a little bit fancier gear than what I was last time you saw me, and I even have a totem, and you'll notice the gaps on my hotbar along with some weapons and bits and pieces, and I've just realised I've got a texture pack on, but that's okay. It's not a major one, it's just one that kind of alters the weapons a little bit, so it's not a big one. So yes, I'm geared up a little bit, and that is thanks to two very kind players who have given me some gear and some other bits and pieces. Now, I will show those off in a second. One thing I did sort of want to cover off is some of the stuff I was wondering about in my other videos. I can't remember, I probably should have listened to my own video back to whether or not I clarified this in my last video. The portal at -5k, the end portal, is indeed created in by the owner. So something that the community wanted, and he actually created a couple of those on the server that are easily accessible by the community, and they know where they are. I still don't know whether or not they're griefable. I assume not. No one's done it. That's fine. Now, the 9B9T map is about 3 years, 2 months ish old, so it's been on there for quite a while. Not quite as old as Constantium, but fairly close. Now, it's a little bit interesting. The owner, JJ, is actually quite involved in the community in quite a different way to the way that Phantom is on Constantium, and 100% different to the way that House is on 2B2T. But maybe this was how House was in the original days, when he did play with the players and was a little bit more interactive with them, and it was a smaller community. So my understanding is that, and this is where it's going to lead to some of the goodies that I've got on me that I want to show off, is that JJ actually tours bases every anniversary. So the server's had 3 anniversaries, and he's toured bases, and he votes on which base he thinks is the best. Now, the winner of those bases, so the one he thinks is the best, and it can either be a solo player, or it can be I'm really worried about that Enderman wandering around, so he's going to get in my eye of sight and I have to fight him off. So it can either be a solo player, or it can be like a great big base of, a heap of people, but they actually get their own head. Now, apparently also that on the 2nd anniversary, he gave 5 people creative mode for about 5 hours. And they actually hacked in a few items that are still on the server today. And I do have my hot little hands on one of them, so I am going to show off that now. I think it's going to be quite exciting. But for the 3rd year anniversary, there was no creative. I imagine this is because of the fact that they cheated in things they shouldn't have cheated in, and there were just heads that were given away. So, ta-da! Heads. Now, the heads that I was given, let me just double check the player's name. I'm just trying to... One of those things that the player, you can chat to a person under one name, but then the name that they use could be totally different. So this was from Ricky the Sus. So he gave me the, he gave me the heads here. Now they do say that they are, this is a little kit that he gave me. They do say that they are, oops, I even got them in here, JJ's head. So I'm assuming that they are indeed JJ's head. Some of them were, I thought I had some that had been renamed. They might be in another shulker. But yes, so, very interesting. But thank you so much, Ricky, for giving me these. It was really nice to be able to actually see the heads in game. pretty cool. Now, the other thing that I was given, and the other player that gave me a lot of bits and pieces, is 69HR, and this is 69HR's kit. He's given me a kit. This is the stuff that I had before. I actually managed to get protection 3 on a diamond chest plate. I had a couple of diamond items, but that was pretty much all I had. But he has given me some really good armor and bits and pieces as well, and that's where I've got some totems here as well. In addition to that, I've also got my hands on the 2nd anniversary sword. And if we have a quick look here, you can see that it has quite a few enchants on it, including Curse of Vanishing. So if anyone kills me, it's gone. You can see it's got your standard enchants, which is your sharpness 5, your knockback 2, etc. But it's also got your bow enchants. It's got a fishing rod enchant on there. It's got protection, feather falling, respiration, aqua affinity, all the stuff you wouldn't normally associate with Curse of Binding. You wouldn't associate with a sword, but in fact with armor. So it's actually quite an interesting set of swords that they cheated in, essentially. Quite clever. But as you can see, they are now in circulation. Dupes come along. All it takes is a couple of players to have these, and dupes go wild and they get spread around the server. And I did notice there are quite a lot of people at spawn with not this named sword, but different swords. And I also got the same one here, but it's been named differently there. So there are quite a lot of swords that are named the same name that are killing people. So I'm assuming that these are just widespread and almost everybody has one of these swords. And again, a huge thanks to 69HR for giving me a couple of sets of gear. I really appreciate it. And again, also to Ricky the Sus for giving me some gear. I can afford to die a couple of times and still have some gear left over. The gear is pretty good gear. This is an unbreakable helmet, which is the only unbreakable piece I've got, but that's still really cool. It means that the helmet's not going to break on me. Again, Curse of Vanishing in case I die. If anyone kills me, they're not getting my gear. And then it's just sort of the, oh, actually, when we look at this, and I didn't spot this before when I put it on, all the props. So, prop 4, fire protection 4, there we go. The pants are just blast protection, and the boots just prop 4. But yeah, I didn't spot that the chest protection actually had all the enchants on it. Very handy. The tools are just basic tools, sort of nothing there, although we do have got sharpness 5 and fortune 3 on that there. Now, interesting thing that I found with the sword is it had silk touch on it. Now, I thought, now there's no way that silk touch will work if you're using a sword, but it does. You can actually silk touch stuff with the sword. It's crazy. Obviously, you're using up your durability in doing that, but how about that? That's really cool. Another thing I've discovered with the server, and actually I think someone may have told me this, but I can't remember who it was that told me it, is you can actually use timer on the server to do your traveling. And I'm just going to pop a little picture on the screen now for you to be able to see that. Now, that footage you are seeing is not me speeding up the footage. That is actually me using timer and just running along. And I can even do it now. If I pop timer on, if I do that, I can zoom really fast. It almost makes me motion sick, so I don't really have it on, and I only really put it on so that I could record some footage of it. But it's such a speedy way of traveling. I was in the Nether, and I swear I nearly fell out of my chair because some player was suddenly in front of me and then suddenly gone. didn't even have the chance for my tracers to pick them up. It was ridiculously fast. So that is, you know, traveling on 9B9T is definitely not a difficult thing at all. So I've got a couple of little bits and pieces that I wanted to show off. I went out to the 10K mark. There wasn't really anything to see but a few withers, but I will show that off. There was also an interesting little nether area, which I thought was kind of cool. It's definitely ruins, but I thought it was kind of cool, and I've shown that off. And then as I was traveling about, I came across a few tiny builds that I've also tacked into the footage as well, just for you to be able to see them. But for now, I'm going to continue exploring 9B9T to see if I can find any interesting builds or any interesting monument structures, whatever, that I can show off. Next week, I might pop onto another server and have an attempt at getting out of another server's spawn, and then I can come back to 9B9T footage for the episodes once I find some more interesting things to see. Mr. Skeleton's over there. Is he under the shade? Why are you not? Oh yeah, he's barely under the shade. One thing I have noticed is that there's not... He's going to go back under the shade now, he's going to chase me. One thing I have noticed on here is there's not huge rates of mobs spawning. You know, I was out here chatting all that night time, and apart from the Enderman and that Skelly, that was pretty much it. That was about... this isn't a well lit up here. I put down the one torch I had, but there wasn't huge amounts. Render distance isn't huge. You'll notice that as I try and free cam in a lot of places. Even if I do it now, you'll see that the render distance isn't huge. It does make free camming and seeing things, a bit of a damaged farm down there, it does make free camming and trying to render things in a little bit difficult tongue-tied. But you know, we'll work with what we have. So yes, in the meantime, thank you very much for tuning in and watching these series of videos. I am enjoying seeing what is on other servers. It's different to what I'm used to on Constantium, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I definitely intend on continuing to visit 9B9T to, as I said, get more footage that I can show off, and we will go visit some other servers as well and see whether or not we can escape their spawn and whether or not we can find anything interesting on those servers as well. But in the meantime, you have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wish I could get through to you, don't know what to do to you. Anything I say will come off as wrong, and you're not alone. Something feels out of place, but you have no tell. It's like we want the same things, but the lines we've drawn are too parallel. I can't sleep when you're not talking to me. Got me suffering in silence, can't breathe when you're not here. I know that you feel some type of way, girl. You don't say it to my face, oh. Just say it to my face. Say it to my face. I know that you feel some type of way, girl. my face, though. Just say it to my face. Say it to my face. I know that you feel some type of way, girl. You don't say it to my face, though. Just say it to my face. Say it to my face. To my. I know you feel like you want me, and I guess in a way you do. Holding my breath, I'm reveling emotions. I need some space to think this through. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise, now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. Look away so you won't see, 'cause the pain is in my eyes. Feels like I could break at any moment and shatter your insides. If you read my mind, call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I promise, now's not the right time. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. I would rather lie. I would rather lie. I don't wanna fight. I would rather lie to you. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. Yeah, I don't wanna fight with you. I would rather lie to you. Call me all night long. Try to give you hints and a hard to see. Right on the line, no. Losing it on you's the last thing I need. If I'm honest, I'll just make you cry. And I don't wanna fight with you.